So just so everybody knows, I am making a recording of this, so and everybody will get the link afterwards to review it. And we would, Stacey and I would be happy for you to pass it on to colleagues if you wish. Okay, so my name is Steve Bennett. I'm from Dolphin, and I'm joined by Stacey. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi there, thanks Steve. I'm Stacey Scott and I'm the RNIB Bookshare manager.
Okay, so what we hope to do today is we're going to take about 30 to 35 minutes. There should be times for questions at the end, and you will be able to type those in. I have switched everyone's microphone off to start with, so that you can, there's no distractions. I can, bear with me because I'm going to swap between my screen, my headshot, and a camera which is over the top of an iPad. Hopefully it'll be relevant to what we're explaining, so you can see things happening as well. I mentioned that we're going to forward you the link and also the PowerPoint slide that we've got available here. So that's going to be available for everybody. Please feel free to pass this video on to colleagues if you wish to do that. Okay, so Stacey, you're doing the first bit. So why don't you explain a little bit about Bookshare and what it does and the service that you guys offer?
Thank you, Steve. So some of you may be familiar with RNIB Bookshare and some of you less so. So I'm just going to give an overview of exactly what we are and how it works. So RNIB Bookshare, otherwise known as the UK Education Collection, is essentially a repository, a digital repository of books, mainly education titles, although we do have a lot of non-fiction and fiction as well, so we have a lot of trade books up there. We currently have around 227,000 books on offer at the moment. That title count increases hourly as publishers provide more and more content. If you go to www.rnibbookshare.org, you can see the live title count at the front and watch it climb. It may be only me that's sad enough to like watching that move, but it is there. So RNIB Bookshare provides content in a variety of different formats. It can be downloaded as EPUBs, PDFs. The EPUBs can be downloaded in Word, Braille, Daisy Audio, and Daisy Text. They can also be opened immediately in your browser and read aloud with our inbuilt tool. As I mentioned earlier, Braille, so we also can immediately convert EPUB books to Braille-ready formats as well. So RNIB Bookshare, one of the things that we love to tell you is that it is completely free to use. We work with publishers to bring in our content. As I mentioned, we have a lot of books. We currently support around 12,000 students across 7,000 educational institutions. So that can be anything from early learning centres straight through to further and higher education. We work with these education establishments who will sign up to RNIB Bookshare, who can then add staff to support their learners, or can add learners so that they can download books independently. Independent learning is our sort of raison d'etre, if you like. That's where we would like to see students get to as much as possible. And we're seeing a lot more of that coming up. More and more students are able to use it independently. So who is eligible? So persons with a visual impairment, so that can be partially sighted, registered blind, any visual function that can't be improved by using corrective lenses or without particular special lighting and different formats. Secondly, we have learning disabilities, persons who are unable to effectively read print due to dyslexia or other cognitive disabilities, such as autism or attention deficit disorder, ADD. It also covers physical disabilities, so people who are unable to hold or manipulate the pages of a printed book, or who have difficulty in focusing or move their eyes to the extent that would be acceptable for reading. So the people who are not eligible are people who do not speak English as a first language. So that means that alone wouldn't qualify as a print disability. Of course, if English is a second language, in addition to another print disability as mentioned above, then that would of course be acceptable. So the way that RNIB Bookshare would work, as mentioned, is that an education institute would sign up through the website and be approved by us, and they can then add their learners. And the reason it's done this way is that the education institute is responsible for certifying to us that the people that they are adding have a qualifying print disability, so that they can access their content completely independently, or if needed through the support of staff. So if you are either a staff member or a learner, you can go onto RNIB Bookshare and you can search for your needed title in a variety of different ways. So you can search by title, by author, by publisher, by keywords. Now, hopefully what will happen is you will search for a book and that book will appear, and you will either assign it to a learner if you are a staff member, or you will download it directly if you are a learner. If the book is not available, we have a book request feature, which means that you can actually submit it to us, the titles that you are looking for, and those requests will come to us, and we will then contact the publisher on your behalf and ask for the content, and then we will make you aware of when that content is available for you or your learner to download. You can also set up reading lists, which is a handy feature for Bookshare. So you can actually set up and share now your different reading lists depending on your class level and different students as well. So you can actually personalize it and individualize it for the students. We have many different resources to help on the website. So we have different help center pages, and we also have a complete suite of training videos, which we have made that take you through visually and audibly a step-by-step guide on how to do everything RNIB Bookshare. But if all of that doesn't quite meet the need, then the team are always on hand to support you, either via email or telephone. So I think that's the main aspects of RNIB Bookshare from me. So I'll hand back over to Steve, but we will be taking questions at the end, so do hold on to those.
Okay, that's super. Thank you, Stacey. You may realize I'm from Dolphin. So Dolphin make an app called Dolphin EasyReader. It works for Android and iOS. So if you wish to download it, type Dolphin EasyReader, all one word, into the app or the Play Store, and then it will become apparent. It's free. So people worried that when I say free, it means and we'll charge later. No, I promise it's free. It will always be free. If you're worried, there's a statement on our website from our CEO that says that it's going to be free forever. All right. So who's eligible? Anybody. Absolutely anybody. The fact that whether you can obtain the books through some of the libraries, I think Stacey's covered beautifully there, and that's that element. So how do I get to use EasyReader? Well, having downloaded it, what I'll do now is I'm just going to swap over to a camera that I've got set over an iPad. So if you just bear with me just for a second, I'll just swap over and I'll move the camera to there. Hopefully people will be able to see that now. Just adjust it. So here I've got a standard iPad and I've downloaded my EasyReader app, and it's asking me to either insert my Google account or my Dolphin account details. So if you do have a Google account, then you click on here, whether it's an Android or an iOS device, and then you just log straight in. If you don't have those, or you don't wish to use that, then you can open a Dolphin account. For that, you're required to have an email address and you need to create a password. Having done that, you'll have 7 days access to the app, but during that 7 days, you need to click on a confirmation link in an email that we'll send to you to confirm that you are the right person. It's not a way of getting everyone's email address. Trust me, when you've had your 10,000 Chinese bloggers trying to attack your website, then you realize why we've done it this way. Now, if your students are perhaps a primary school age or secondary school and they're not allowed to have an email that is reachable off-site, that really isn't a problem. As I said, it's not the email that we're after. We're after what I will call a pivot point, which is the Dolphin account or the Google account. Please email myself, and my details will be at the end, or colleagues on info@yourdolphin.com, and we'll create an account for you based on your educational establishment. So perhaps user1 at primaryschool.ac.uk. All right, and we'll create that. All right, so I'm just going to log into this particular device, and I'm going to use my Dolphin account. So it's come up, what's your email address and what's your password? So while I'm typing this in, it's worth mentioning, can I log into more than one device? Yes, you can. You can log into as many devices as you wish. Can I log out of this device and back into another device? Yes, absolutely. There's no problem in doing that as well. So just bear with me while I just obscure my, my password. Okay. And I've clicked on enter. Okay, and it says I've successfully logged in to my into Dolphin EasyReader. Now, if I would go to push the sidebar, I'll see it comes up, and here it says my books, and underneath it says managed libraries, and then it has EPUB, Project Gutenberg, RNIB Bookshare, and RNIB Overdrive. So those were the libraries that you will see available in a UK version of this. EPUB is free, out of copyright stuff, as is Project Gutenberg. There is some foreign content in there. So foreign, I mean, there's some European language stuff available in EPUB and Project Gutenberg. It's all out of copyright. But everybody can go in there and download as much as they wish. There's no restrictions on that at all. If I was to enter the RNIB Bookshare, then it's going to ask me for my username, and it's going to ask me for my password. If I've done that once, I don't need to do it again. Okay, so it's always going to be available for me. So I have done that once, so I'm just going to tap on RNIB Bookshare. Now, what I'm in now is what we would call technically is the API of the library. So I'm actually in a web page, which is the back end of Stacey's RNIB Bookshare library. And in here, I can look for the books that I wish. I haven't needed to go to a separate web page. You stay within the app and how you're doing that, okay? Now, if I just go back a little bit and I go to manage libraries, there are in fact 25 libraries, and they're from different countries all over the world. So if I just refer down here, we have Canada, then Poland, Germany, we have France, we have Switzerland, we have Sweden, Czech Republic, for instance. Longer term, it may be that people will be able to join other libraries. But if you want those libraries to appear, you tick on the little item to the right-hand side, and then that will appear in your list if you wish. But for now, I've restricted this down to a few there. Okay. So let's go and get a book, right? And I think that's the key here. So I'm often asked, how many books are there, and are they useful books? So Stacey's mentioned that there are 227,000 books. And to give you some idea, I think I looked 6 weeks ago and there was 203. So they're going at a huge rate at the moment. So if you've made a reading list for the student, then you'll see at the top here, then there's some categories available. And if you want to search for a particular book, then you can type in here. This works beautifully with VoiceOver if you were using that. If not, then there's no need to be on. Android and iOS are absolutely identical except for one small item, and I'll show you what that is later. So perhaps I'm interested in an AQA paper, perhaps I'm interested in something like, I'm interested in French. So I'm just going to tap on search. So now I'm searching the library, like Stacey mentioned, that you can search on a number of different categories, author, the title, and all this. And what we have now is I've got a list of all the content that is available. I don't have to search in the right order that this is listed here. I could have typed French, AQA, and in the case student, I see one of the books is available there. At different orders, the same books would have appeared, or the books pertinent to that search would have appeared there. So I can go through them and I can see here it says this is a PDF. Okay, and if the symbol's there of the text and the page, it's a text-only book, of which the majority of the books, in fact, all I believe, are based in text-based. Did you just confirm that, Stacey?
Yep, absolutely. Yep, text-based.
Okay. So I'll just go back. I won't actually look on that. And I'll go back again, and perhaps I will look in the popular books. Okay, which is listed here, and then I can see different ones there. And there I can see that there's some EPUB books available as well as PDF. Okay, right. Someone's just switched their microphone, and I'll just stop that. Okay, it's off now. Right. So I want to find out a little bit more about Great Expectations. So I'm going to tap it, and it gives me a synopsis of the book. And here's just a wealth of information: the ISBN, the publisher, the quality of the book, the Bookshare ID, and it gives me a synopsis that I can read through. Perhaps I want to download this book. I'm still in the app. I click on the download button, and then you'll be able to see the progress coming across the screen. And because they're text, they come in fairly quickly. You can see that's coming, taking about 5 to 10 seconds to come in. The download is now turned to an open. So if I touch on the open, then the content will open for me, and it's there and it's available. It's a real quick way. It's such a super service. All the app does is show off the RNIB Bookshare service in the reality. So if I wish, I can scroll. Okay, and for everybody that likes, excuse me, I've altered the pad, everybody that likes a white background with black text, then this is perfect. That's the default. The highlighted element will be yellow with a little orange on the spoken word, and you can change those colors. If you don't like the size of the text, then move your fingers apart and it will word wrap the text for you. You can bring that back as well. It will keep the synchronization in that particular place. I suspect the majority of the people that are using from dyslexia will be looking for an altered background and text color, and those are available if you touch the A at the top. You can change the font colors there. So at the bottom we have text colors, background colors, the sentence highlight, and the word highlight. Further up, you have letter spacing, line spacing, margins, and the book font. And if you wish, there is, in fact, there's a couple of fonts in there that you can change to, of which the Open Dyslexia font is one as well. Now, the beauty of the service that RNIB have offered is the book comes in and everybody renders the text in a style and a format that suits the individual learner. There only needs to be one book available, and it's altered when you come here. If you wish, you can use the voice input. Not voice input, you can use the voice output from the device. Good faith that this digital material is freely distributable. And you can stop and start with a large play button at the bottom. There is a history thing there. If you wish, you touch in the bottom left-hand corner, the book navigation, you can go to a particular chapter of the book. If I'd stayed with the AQA French, it's going to be a long day to read the top to the bottom. So what you can do is if there's something that you're particularly interested in, you can search the book. So if I was to look at the word fully, I can just see it in the top corner there, FLY. I'll type that into the search. then it brings up all the incidences of that particular word. If I touch on one, it will jump straight to it. If that's not the instance that I want, if I go back to my, back to my search, all right, in which case my search fields are still there, I can touch on the next one and it will jump through to that location. I want to come back here. I don't want to have to do that search again. What I'm going to do is tap on the bookmark in the top left-hand corner, and it's put a little insert, so that will be in my bookmarks. If I tap it again, then it gives me the option to put some text in there. I'll just put some random text. And if I wish, I can also make an audio note as well. You make the microphone would need to be on the device to be able to do that. So as I come back over that, and I'll just go to the previous thing, and I'll just ask it to go.
I think the Romans must have.
Okay, as I came across it, then there was a ping to tell me that the bookmark was available, but I don't want to have to search that way. What I want to be able to do is go to the bookmarks, and they're all listed in that element there. Okay, so let's just pop back. I don't like the voice. So if I don't like the voice, then I can change the voice. And what it does is it lists the voices which are available on the device. So if you prefer a female voice rather than Daniel, then you can change that in here. And there are a number of different things. And iOS and Android both give you options there. I have to say the iOS platform is slightly more flexible in that respect. If you wish to change it to another language voice because you've downloaded some French content, yes, it will do that. There is no problems at all with it. So there are a number of features, and I won't go through all of them. The one in particular that I was keen to do is to look at some PDFs. All right, so if I touch on the, go back to the my books, and what I'll find is that there is a PDF in here, which I downloaded earlier. Okay. I believe this is it's a grade, target grade 5 reading AQA GCSE thing. So the navigation is slightly different here. Because it's a PDF and we have, it's a text-based PDF, we have firstly a sort of an image-based option here. Now, this will read, okay? So you can touch.
Which outing is each message about? Write the correct.
Okay, and it will read the text in this PDF, but it's not a vertical experience. And because of the way it's a PDF, you can't word wrap the text like it was before. It will make it larger, okay, but it won't word wrap. The experience to navigate is from side to side. Okay, you can do that, or obviously back, and that will change the page if you wish. If this is not a comfortable format and your education, your student wishes to change it, then if you tap on the ellipse in the top right-hand corner, then you can switch to the text mode, and it stripped the text out of the PDF. And now you can change the size, you can change the font, you can change the color, whatever suits you, all right, or your user, in fact. Both of those can be searched, just as I mentioned in the EPUB before, so they're all available. What formats will it open? So it'll open a format called DAISY, and there are 3 versions of that, but all of them. EPUB and EPUB 3, it will open PDF, and it will open a Word doc as well. So if there's any of those in any of the libraries, they can be opened at the same time. The book that you've last opened is always available at the top of the book link, and underneath that is the your library, and you can go to and list all the books that you have available there. Now, what if I have a problem with the app and I'm not understanding it, how to use it? Okay, my suggestion would be to touch the bookstore in there, and at the bottom you see About and Help. And if you were to click on Help for EasyReader, you'll see there's a web page that's going to pop up, and there's just an excellent step-by-step help system there. So if I'm interested in text settings, then it breaks that down into change the font, change the size, change the margins. It's available in English and a number of different languages. So that's sort of my way of saying we don't actually give telephone support for the free app. That's why we made such a good help system here. So we're happy to do some webinars to help training with some educators, but if not, we'd rather not support your end users if possible, and you'll understand why that is the case. Okay. So I'm just going to jump back to the PowerPoint thing. So excuse me for jumping around. All right. So share there. So just to finish up on that, so I mentioned it works on iOS and Apple and Android devices. So that's an Android phone, an iPhone. It is on the larger iPods. It also works on an iPad. It doesn't work on a Mac yet, and that will come later this year. If I have an Android phone or an Android tablet or a Chromebook, then yes, it will work on all of those. So the listening position of the book is synchronized on Dolphin accounts. If you have a student who has been listening to a book and is at a particular point in the book, if they have a device which they use, a separate device they use on the way home, they will have needed to download the book again to the second device, but the book will start at that position when they open it on the second device. That's another free service that's available for Dolphin. Okay. So with that, I'm going to switch back and bring in Stacey, and I'll just look and see if we've got some, if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. So I wonder if you could possibly type those into the chat window. And I'm afraid you're going to have to look at my face while I do this. I'll change the camera because I need to use it in a slight different mode than the screen sharing. Okay. So if you have any, just type something in the chat window and then we'll be able to answer those back for you straight away. Okay. So Stacey, isn't it, whilst that's happening, is there anything I missed that you think I should have mentioned?
No, I think you covered it beautifully, Steve. I mean, I would just say as someone who's used Dolphin EasyReader with RNIB Bookshare, both professionally and personally now as I've started doing a course, I absolutely love it. I think it transforms the learning experience. For me, as someone who had very little access to content as a blind student, even sort of 10 years ago, now I can sit and really quickly download a whole host of books in my hand and have them read aloud. It's incredible to have those resources now that we didn't even see 5-10 years ago.
Okay, that's fantastic. So I have a question popped in, and someone has asked, are the buttons correctly tagged in the app for VoiceOver to read? Yes, guarantee it. We have, I can say that the majority of our customers are VoiceOver users with Apple devices, and anything that they report not working, we quickly jump on top of. Okay. Next one is, I'm working with a parent who had an Amazon Fire, and she found that the apps was only free trial, then charged £40. Okay, so we do have a Windows version of EasyReader, and that is £40. All right, and so it's a one-off charge of £40, but the Android and the iOS apps are absolutely free. All right. So I know we've caused a little bit of confusion there, and hopefully this is sorting that out. So yes, the website does reflect that, but for the Windows version, but not the apps. When I choose my books, do I need a separate logins for RNIB Bookshare? Stacey?
I don't really understand the question, if I'm honest. If I take it correctly, what might be being asked is, so you have things like RNIB Overdrive in there, and you have RNIB Bookshare. So those are two separate libraries. So you would need a separate login for RNIB Overdrive to RNIB Bookshare. I hope that answers the question, but if not, please do pop it back in the window and I can come up with something else.
Yeah. Okay, I think it does. So, yeah, as you said. And someone has just said that they missed the beginning of the meeting. So you possibly missed that I also said that I'll send a recording, which is your question. All right, so yes, there will be a link made available to a recording of the webinar afterwards. So Stacey, can you see that?
From Raymond here, yeah. How do I get RNIB Bookshare login? So Raymond, if you are a staff member, then you can set one up through your educational establishment, so who you work for, and you can sign yourself up to be a primary user, which means you are the key person, you are the master of the rings, if you like. So you can then in turn add staff members and students. If you are a student, then what you can do is you can either find out through your educational establishment if they have an account with us and ask them to set you up as a learner, or you can contact us, you can email me directly, and we can check and see if the school indeed has an account and tell you who to contact there.
So the next one is two of you as well, Stacey. Are DSA needs assessors able to get a login to Bookshare?
Yes, I think we would be able to allow that, yeah. It would be on an individual basis, and if you could drop me an email, then yeah, I think we could arrange that.
And Raymond has asked the same question, so that's perfect. Steve Scott Douglas says, Steve, when you first open the app, can you force the app to go straight open to the last bookshelf that you were using, bookshelf on Overdrive, or do you have to use the menu at the top left each time? So the app should open the last time you left it, unless you've done that thing of closing the app. I believe in Apple, you double tap on the button at the bottom and then you swipe it up, in which case it will start with at the beginning. But no, if you've opened a book and you've left it and you come back in a day's time, it will still be at that position on that particular book. Okay.
And so I'll just answer this question, Steve, about the difference between RNIB Bookshare and RNIB Overdrive. So RNIB Overdrive is it's an audiobook library, and it's mostly trade titles and fiction books, whereas and you don't need to be a member of an educational establishment to join RNIB Overdrive, whereas RNIB Bookshare is more digital content in the sense that it's text-based, and you'll find a lot more fiction and school textbooks and exam content on there.
Okay. So Ruth said, would the response to Raymond's question be the same in the case for those of us who are carrying out assessments for litigation?
It's a good question. Can you please ping me an email on it? Is it Ruth, did you say?
It
Steve?
was.
Ruth, if you could, and that's something I can certainly pick up and get a definite answer to. Okay.
I think we've just about exhausted everybody.
Thank you,
says
Ruth.
thank you. Yeah, okay. All right.
Can we confirm the email addresses, Steve? Someone's
I
asked. Yeah.
Can. Perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to share the screen again for everybody.
Perfect.
On there, you should be able to see my email address and Stacey's, and also the email address for if you want to look on the Dolphin website, and if you want to look at the RNIB website. I did mention earlier, the progress in putting the books online is absolutely phenomenal at the RNIB at the moment. So, and you can get some idea of what's available there. Okay, happy to get your emails afterwards. And again, my colleagues will be in touch with the details and a quick roundup video for you as well. Thank you, everybody. I wish you a pleasant evening. Thank you, Stacey.
Yes, thank you, Steve, and thank you to everyone as well. I know it's the end of a long day for many of you, so we really appreciate you joining us. And yes, please do get in touch if we can help at all. And yeah, look forward to seeing you on RNIB Bookshare.
Okay, super. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Steve.
Bye-bye.